Hey guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today I'm going to be reviewing Deadpool and Wolverine. So this is going to be a pretty quick review today. I feel like everybody in the world has seen this movie already at this point. I wanted to wait a week so everyone could see it, so maybe I could talk about some spoilers and how much I genuinely loved this movie. I will say I fully understand kind of the criticism around this movie of it being a pretty basic plot. I will say it's the weakest of the three movies when it comes to actual plot and storyline. It's a little bit messy. It is a cameo fest, and it is fully a film that maybe really encapsulates what fan service is. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I know that people may want something to be a lot deeper, but I think at the end of the day, you can do fan service in a way, in a particular genre, for a particular movie that just works. And it works for audiences, and it makes people happy, and it makes people have fun and go to the theater. And I think this movie succeeded in that. So to go over a very brief synopsis of the plot, you have Deadpool, who's trying to save his timeline, save his universe, trying to be with the people that he loved and make it up to his girlfriend so he can be with her and be more than just kind of a goofball throughout his whole life. And in order to do that, he needs to work with the TVA to find a replacement for Logan, who died in his universe, causing the collapse of his timeline. And so to do that, he goes to another timeline. He finds a Wolverine that's kind of down on his luck, who is a failure in his timeline, and brings him into his to try and solve all these problems. Things get wacky, things get messy. He ends up going to this place called the Void, where we get to see some really cool characters that we haven't seen in many years. And then we get to see Channing Tatum finally as Gambit. It was just so much fun. It's so funny. It's such a homage to people that have followed all these superhero movies since X-Men 1 and even further. It's great. It's really fun. If you're someone who enjoys these movies and you've been waiting to see all these characters come back that you grew up with, or waiting to see them interact in such funny ways, you can't really go wrong with it. I think it makes great use of its soundtrack like the previous two films. You're able to blend these pop music, or this juxtaposition of music, against brutal violence or huge dramatic moments. Ryan Reynolds is kind of born to play Deadpool, and then you have Hugh Jackman kind of born to play Wolverine. Having these two iconic characters playing off of one another was everything that I expected from it. I think the personalities characters create that natural conflict that is just so enjoyable and ends up being so heartwarming by the end of the film. There's actually a lot of heartwarming moments in this movie that I didn't really expect. Some great action sequences and some great callbacks to the comics themselves. I'm a comic book collector, and I worked in the comic book industry for a few years, so I loved particularly some of the scenes where it dives into some deep cuts that only those that really follow the comics would even get or understand. So I loved that. I love that it pays service to the comics and to the fans of the movies, and not just the MCU, but the whole Fox universe going back throughout all the films. And as far as the comedy, obviously some people are going to find things really funny and others aren't. I think if you think particularly the second Deadpool is really funny, you'll find this one funny. Ton of cameos, ton of fourth wall breaks, what you kind of expect from this franchise. If you don't like that and you didn't like the first two Deadpool films, and I think if you didn't like the second Deadpool film in particular, you probably won't have fun with this one. It is kind of this weird subgenre of the superhero genre that if you don't like it, you're just not going to like it, and you probably never are going to like it. And if you love it, this is going to be everything you expect from it. Tons of gore in this movie, and we get to see Wolverine kind of unleash a full animalistic fight style. We get to see him in his yellow suit, which is iconic and was incredible to see on the big screen. And honestly, there's a lot of epic moments in this movie that we've been waiting a long time to see on screen, and they knew it's something the audiences wanted, and they delivered. There's a ton of fun and clever fight choreography in this movie, whether it be the first sequence where we have Deadpool fighting the TVA agents with the body of Logan to NSYNC. And there's another incredible scene where we see Deadpool and Wolverine fighting up in kind of a perceived one shot where he's fighting a bunch of Deadpool variants. There's just a ton of brutality and violence and blood, and it's just what you expect from this franchise. So at the end of the day, I think it's a solid installment into the Deadpool franchise. I think it kind of shifts where the MCU as a whole, brings a nice close to the Fox universe and some of those beloved characters, bringing back some for kind of a nice final ride. So if you end up checking out Deadpool and Wolverine, how does it rank in the Deadpool films for you, and how does it rank for kind of the recent MCU movies? I would love to hear people's opinions, particularly if you didn't like this movie, because I really loved it. I love this franchise, so I kind of knew I was gonna probably enjoy it, but I think it delivered on a level that I wasn't really expecting it to. So if you don't like it, or something you didn't enjoy about it, I always love to hear those opinions, to see them kind of a different perspective, and maybe there's something that maybe I'm glossing over because I really do enjoy this character. So again, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. See you guys next time.